Welcome back, everybody. We're going to do a quicker version today since the last video went long. And I already did a lot of unbolting here. And, you know, we got the junk on the ground and the clutch discs and plates out. So, in looking and thinking about things overnight, I realized this is an oil passage. And you remember I talked about the oil line going in here. And then the oil goes through here and goes and drips on your valves. So that's a good design, not the best. I wonder what they did to change it, but we know the V65s had oil issues in the top of the engine. So anyway, that's what this guy is. And then this, I have all this undone already. Did want to show you on the rear cylinder, as we are here, the front one is all taken off. If you want to go back and watch that video, feel free. Front, and then we have, yeah, so there's the front head, there's the front valve cover, and all the good stuff. Here, we have all the bolts undone. So if you want to see this all together, there it is. We do have a base. They call it valve cover head base. Valve cover head base. So this is just another thing, and I don't know. Why did they need extra here? I'm not sure. So you have a gasket on the bottom, gasket on the top, but the rear needed extra room. And I'm not sure why, but it's here and it's on the rear and now it's on the floor. So that has to be together for the rear. And then we undid these and we undid these and the 10s and the 12s. So I'm going to remove all this off camera so you guys don't have to wait for it. Head bolts are already undone. So I'm going to get all this off and show you what we got underneath the rear cylinders, because the fronts were super nasty. Let's see how the rears have done. Here I got everything off and the engine fell over as I was wailing on it. I do take my screwdriver and wedge in there just to break the seal, and then I was just using the soft mallet to try and hit this up, and then it tipped over and a bunch of stuff came out. So we still do have water or whatever has been sitting in the bottom of this engine. There's all our top end stuff, and that came off pretty easily and quick since I knew what I was doing this time. But yeah, working this off, it's a little tight, a little tough. I don't want to ruin anything if I can help it. But we have these engine mounts that mounts to the frame, so we know this is the rear head, and we also had that base spacer too. So I'm going to continue here and get this off for you. Got it up very carefully, pry it one side at a time in equal ways so it doesn't like get cockeyed and then get stuck. So I got it up, I got it free, my bolts are still sitting in there, and let's see if I can lift this up. As you can see, valves are still in there, tappets are still in there because they're held in with these guys. And all we got to do, lift this straight up, and we should be free of everything. Yep, I already got this coolant line free. It just got in the way there as I was lifting it up this way. And there we go. Take a look at the top or the bottom of the head here. This is better than the other one. We can actually see both spark plugs here. And you can see also that we do have 2 exhaust and 2 inlet ports on these guys. Let's just keep everything together. This wasn't done as carefully as the other. There is a hose on the floor. Not sure, that must have gotten knocked off of something. Here are our rear cylinders, also packed full of dirt and sludge and grime and rust and gunk. All to say, whoops, there's already dirt down in there, no problem. But all to say that this engine will never run again. Unless you think you can, and you really want it. That is not something I can guarantee. And I also don't know. Let's see, what do I got? Now, let's pick at this a little bit. This is all wet. So, it's like sand. I mean, this will come out, but I'm getting it down in the coolant passage now. I could get a a vacuum and get all that dirt and wetness out of there. This one's pretty dry, so that tells me that side was collecting moisture and water, and this was not. So there's our rear cylinders full of crap. Guys, have you ever seen anything like this? Here's our front ones. This one also dry again. Like I said, I need to get down through and find that piston on this side. That's just terrible. So if you didn't hear in my previous videos, this engine sat outside for probably 30 years at this point. I mean, this is kind of what the carburetors look like. I couldn't save anything from the carbs. There was definitely a nest built in there. I'm guessing mice, and it just went to crap. So let's go ahead, pull this coolant line off. That's already been disconnected, so that'll come off easy. And then we'll pull this rear drive gear off. But now we know what the rear cylinders look like. That is exciting. Here we're removing the the engine management wiring. What is this? Oil pressure switch, maybe? Timing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but 10mm bolts gets that out of there. And that's all intact. Does it work? I don't know. Maybe. No guarantee. And then we'll continue here. There's our flywheel. We got all that good stuff. That's connected to the crankshaft. And as this engine goes back and forth on the ground, and I kick it one way or the other, there is stuff falling around inside. I do remember dropping some bolts, so that's probably what's in there. Let's see. Let's do a couple more things. Let's get the oil pan off now that we're kind of flopping this around. We're gonna take that final drive out and see if we can get that out without stripping bolts. The shadow, we kind of had a mess getting that off. So see if we can get that off and look at this soup that I'm working in. It's always fun. Always fun, guys. 6mm hex bolts came right out, clean as everything. And if I'm not mistaken, this should, once we break the seal, push right off of there. All right, there's our clutch rod. Like I said, that goes the whole way through the engine and pushes out. And yeah, there's that. That would have worked if we could get this engine back. That's been removed. So we do not have any sort of identification on this engine, other than the heads will say how many cc's are in it, and that's over there. So anyway, we're not going to go after that. Oh, here's the bolt that I used. Yeah, that doesn't even belong to this engine. That's the bolt that got the flywheel, or I'm sorry, the flywheel puller we used there. But that's the bolt. I'm not sure where I took that from, but that worked to get out the rotor from around the stator. And well, since this didn't just come loose, obviously it's been stuck there for a long time, being that this is an 82 that sat outside. We're gonna have to work on that a little bit to get it out. Let's flip it over carefully and pull off the oil pan and see what's going on in the base of this engine. 9 8mm bolts to loosen up the oil pan. And now we will find somewhere to pry and tap it. Probably have to lift it straight up. There easily could be something holding it down. Probably just can't tap it. I don't know. Maybe we do. Don't want to break anything. That's the engine. All right, she's loose. Let's see what we get. Now we can't set this engine down on top of this and move it around. Something just fell. Let's see what's in the bottom of this engine here. I think everything's loose. There we go. Here is the evidence that we've been looking for. Oh man. Okay. Ha. Yep. Well, guys, this tells us all we need to know. Yeah, let's just set that down. This tells us everything we need to know. This engine blew up, guys. That little piece we found earlier, this little guy, look how clean he is. He came out clean. That little guy was probably, guys, what do we got here? Oh no. This holds one of the pistons. This would go around the crankshaft and hold the piston in place. It's definitely sheared off. I think one of the bolts must have came loose here. And look at all this metal. This is for the oil to run through. Wow, this is crazy. Who cares where we put this stuff now? So this engine blew apart. I can already see another piece down there. This is the filter that keeps your engine clean of pieces of metal. Oh man. There's tons of metal. Tons of metal everywhere. All right, this and I don't know. These bikes should not blow apart like that. This is a good old Honda. Oh, and you look up in there, you can see stuff that's not in the right place. You can see stuff that's mangled. This thing blew apart and threw a piston. And that's why it got parked, guys. So another reason this bike will never work, because I bet you as we continue to tear this down, wow, I gotta get a picture of this. This is amazingly terrible. There's our oil pump, and that could be fine. There's no way of knowing, probably. But this engine imploded. That's crazy. That's part of your piston. That's, I don't know. I forget what. This is just crazy. There's a gear. There's some metal sitting in the gears. Yeah, guys. So, this engine was never going to run again. Saving it was not an option. So we're just going to tear it all down and save what we can and maybe sell what we can. But to send this to another country, this is why I wasn't going to do that, because this engine is a giant boat anchor. Ugh. So with that reveal, we're done for now. Ooh, man. We're going to have to see what other pieces of metal we can fish out of here. Definitely a done deal on this engine. So, guys, I will see you on the next one. Hopefully your engine doesn't look like this, and hopefully I can save some parts. Oh, yeah, before we leave, I'm going to go see if the starter works. Put some power to that and see if the starter runs. So, thanks for watching. I'll try and get a good pick for you guys. But this is what we found in the bottom. This wasn't running again. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one. Get out and ride or tear apart your 82 Sabre engine. Catch you later. Bye. All we got to do is put power to the positive lead. Let's see, can you see? Can you see? Can you hear? And then we're going to touch the casing so it grounds out and see what we got. Ready? Let's go. Come on. We've got a starter, guys. All right, starter works. For sale. For sale here, or normal guy getting by. I'll see you guys on Instagram. I even have the, Here's the top bolt. I even have the mounting screws. There you go. Clean starter for a 1982 Sabre. I don't know. I'll see if it works for the other guys too, like the Magna. But there you go. That's, I don't know what that means. MBO SM8214 left. It's probably what came off here or what was used in manufacturing. It's probably quite factory. So anyway, broken engine, working starter. Have a great one. See you on the next one.